Now, I have to talk about a thing that has been dreadful for me, and it is college football. This season of college football could not have gone any worse for me as a Michigan State fan. First, my head coach decided to take his, you know, his favorite body part and use it like it was an amusement park. Shout out to Mrs. Costanza. After that, my team became the single worst college football team I've ever seen with Harlan Barnett. And now, as all that's happening, the University of Michigan, my least favorite sports team and sports fandom ever, continues to just keep winning games and being very good, and I hate it. So the big takeaway, Michigan, they finally did it. They won a playoff game after this would be the third year of making it. And they beat Alabama, a team that I did not think they would match up well against. Here's the thing. I really thought that the mobile quarterback, I thought it was going to struggle. I thought it was going to make their defense struggle, but Jalen Milroe looked like doo-doo. He looked awful. And Michigan, credit to their defense. It is a hard unit to beat. They were sacking Jalen Milroe basically every other down. I don't know all their guys on defense because I don't really watch a lot of Michigan football. And I will say this, there's a lot of guys that are going to be playing on Sunday on that defense. On that defensive line, in that secondary. And credit to the Michigan offense, which did not have like an amazing game, but they overcame the adversity that they were putting themselves in. Between the special teams mishaps with the missed extra point and the bobbled fumbles and all that, the bobbled punts, all that, it just didn't matter because their defense kept them in that game. As far as I see this is a defensive victory for Michigan. J.J. McCarthy, he had 3 touchdowns. He only threw for 221 yards. He threw for less than 30 times. He was obviously a factor in them winning. I don't know that I agree with him getting the MVP. I think that should have gone to Blake Corum, frankly. Blake Corum, who is like the only player on Michigan that I sort of like. I guess I don't. Let me make it clear. I don't hate any of these guys. I hate the fans. And I think sometimes the fans overrate some of these guys. But Michigan, to me, they are just sort of a unit. They don't have that one guy that completely blows you away, but they play together. They play hard. And they're hard to beat. I think at this point, as much as it pains me, they're my team. They're not my team, but they're the team that I think is going to win the national championship come next week. I like Washington. I love Michael Penix. I saw him firsthand murder my football team, but I don't think that they can do what they do on offense when you got all of these cats on defense about ready to take your head off. I just don't see it happening. Now, as far as the game itself, it was quite the nail biter, I would say. Alabama had the lead late. They were up 13 to or 20 to 13. Very late into that game. They scored 10 points in that fourth quarter and they did not win. That to me is, you had a game won and you blew it. You blew it. And it's so unusual for me to have to say that about Nick Saban when these are the kinds of games that he wins. And again, I went into this. You can go back and watch some of the tape going into when the playoffs were set. I really thought that this was a bad matchup for Michigan. I did not think they'd be able to contain Jalen Milroe, but credit to Jim Harbaugh, credit to his staff. They figured it out. They figured him out, and he was so ineffective, to the point where he's going to need a real big bounce back year if he wants to be a first round draft pick. But with that being said, Michigan, congratulations. You won the Rose Bowl. You finally did something that Michigan State did in 2014, which was probably the last time that Michigan State ever felt true happiness. So that's good. But outside of that, you also have the opposing team. You have Washington battling over Texas. Now, I will say I was right about this. I didn't think Texas was going to win this game because since that Kansas State game, a game they really should have lost, I just didn't trust Texas. Not that they weren't a good team. There's just something about them. It just rubbed me the wrong way. And turns out Michael Penix is a really good quarterback. I was looking at some of the mock drafts. The fact that they don't have Michael Penix going in the first round is ridiculous. Michael Penix is one of the best quarterbacks out of this class. He threw for 430 yards, had a couple of touchdowns. He had 2 receivers with over 100 receiving yards. Now, the thing is, for Michigan, this is not going to be easy. You're going to have for the first time, I would say probably the best offense you've had to face. Now, obviously, it makes sense. It's the national championship game. You're going to play the best team. But how you respond to that is going to tell the whole story of this Michigan team. And as far as Texas, you're bringing Quinn Ewers back. So you got something to build on. I don't think it's all gloom and doom for Texas. Obviously, moving into the SEC is going to be a bit of a challenge, I think, as opposed to the Big 12. So we'll see how they respond to that. But I mean, to Washington's credit, or for Washington's sake, they're going to be moving into the Big 10. That's going to offer its own challenges as well. So, yeah. I think national championship game next week. If I were a betting man, which I am not, I would take Michigan. I think that they're a more complete team. I think that they have less explosive plays, but they have those sustained drives where they eat away at the clock. And Washington, their defense is just not that good. We've seen multiple times where they drop, or their defense gives up 30, 40 plus points in a football game. And look, Michigan does not have the most amazing offense ever, but if they get you in a dogfight, if they get you in the mud, if they're sacking Michael Penix, if Michael Penix can't, move around in the pocket, if he doesn't have time to throw those deep shots to, Odunze or any of these other guys, he's going to struggle. And I think this game could go one of two ways. It could be a kind of low-scoring, close game that Michigan pulls away, or Washington could just have their way, and it could be a complete shootout. If Michigan is not scoring, Washington will win 100-0. I think those are basically the two scenarios that I could see happening. Now, obviously, as the week goes, potentially things could change as teams practice and, what have you. But I really don't anticipate anything massively changing going into this game. I don't know what the betting lines are. I guess I could look. What is it? If it's been set yet. It has not been set. Or no, it has been set. It has Michigan at -4.5. So they have Michigan as 5-point underdogs, right? Or wait. No. Right? I don't remember how those things work. I don't remember how that works. Michigan is 5-point favorites. Not right? When it's minus, I'm sorry, I don't do betting. All right. We already discussed this. But anyways, matchup predictor on ESPN has Michigan at a 74.3% win probability to Washington 75.7. So yeah, I think this is Michigan's game to lose. Minus is fair. Okay. Thank you. I wish they would just actually use that, but they gotta be all fancy with their math and subtraction and things and stuff and numbers all over the place. What do they mean, Mason? But no, I think Michigan is going to win this game, and it's going to be painful because I'm going to have to hear about this from Michigan fans for the rest of my life, assuming Michigan State does not win relatively soon. Now, to that point, Michigan had to hear from Michigan State that they had the more recent Rose Bowl victory for up until 2014, and now we don't even have that. So you can see how this was just a struggle fest of a weekend for me. I had the Lions get robbed, and then on New Year's Day, Happy New Year! Michigan wins a freaking bowl game, finally. Ridiculous. But congrats, Michigan. I'm so happy for you. But go Dogs. Go Dogs. Obviously. Come on. There were some Michigan State fans. I don't know if you're in that camp, Mr. X. where I saw like, oh, I just want to see the Big Ten succeed. It's like, I don't care about the Big Ten. I care about, who I care about? I care about the green and white. That's what I care about. Like, as far as I'm concerned, Michigan could lose the rest of their games by 100. It wouldn't matter to me. like, what do you think this is? This isn't. We aren't just a rivalry for 1 week, guys. I mean, like, come on. There was something I also heard. This is even weirder to me, where I heard there was some Buckeyes fan who was like, oh, the real Buckeyes fans were rooting for Michigan because we just want what's good for the. It's like the real Buckeyes fans. You guys are a bunch of losers if you're rooting for Michigan. This is your biggest rival who's pulled your pants down the last 3 years. Oh, I just hope Michigan has a great time. It's like, what? Did you lose your balls? Like, what happened? Have a little bit of, spite. Come on. I mean, that's half the fun of sports is the spite store. Curb Your Enthusiasm spite store. That's what this is. Like, this is like, I know that my team is not good. I know that my team is not going to win, but I know for sure I don't want your team to win. If I'm going to be down in the mud, I want you right here with me. That's my motto, my line of thinking, especially for college sports, but it applies to pros as well. Hey there, what you just watched was actually a clip from a larger show that we do every Tuesday night. What are you doing Tuesday night? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like button so that you don't miss out on any more of our weekly shows every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there.